Today we are going to learn about abstract class and interface. Okay, so in this lecture, what are you going to learn is how can we use abstract class and abstract methods, and how can we implement the interface. Okay, so let's start. So actually an overview about what is abstract class. Okay, so actually in abstract class, it's actually you you extended it. Okay, you use abstract class it as a superclass. Okay, so and then in the abstract class, it will only represent the generic, okay, the abstract form of all the classes that are derived from it. So that means you make a list of all the abstract methods that you are going to use. Okay, so in abstract class, normally you can do both implementation, which is you can do coding, and then you can do also abstract method, which is abstract method there shouldn't be any code or any implementation in it. Okay, so an abstract class often contains abstract method, though it doesn't have to. Okay, it depends. Okay, you can include the abstract method or not. So what is the differences between abstract class and concrete class? Concrete class is actually the regular class. Okay, the regular class that contain the implementations. Okay, all the methods are completely implemented. Meanwhile, the abstract class is purely to generalize the common behavior or methods. That means it either will be duplicated across sub or concrete classes. Okay, you will list it out in abstract class, and then you can also include implementation in the abstract class. All right, so when the abstract class is the subclass, so the subclass usually provides the implementation. Okay, if the abstract class that you are defining is also the subclass, so you include all the implementation in that particular class for all the abstract methods. Okay, so uh, in the UML representation, this is how we represent our abstract class. So abstract class doesn't support multiple inheritance, similar to inheritance which just doesn't allow multiple inheritance. So when you are using abstract class, you can only use one inheritance. Okay, you cannot do multiple inheritance. Like the example here. Okay, all this car, lorry, and SUV cannot like inherit everything from vehicle if you declare vehicle as the abstract class. Okay, so here the abstract class here is vehicle, and then the abstract methods here is the get road tax price. Okay, so if if there are limitations like that, why should we use abstract class actually? So there are a reason, okay, why you have to use abstract class. It actually helps you to establish the common elements in class that is too general to instantiate. Okay, for example, you have a lot of cars, and then you want to list out the methods for all the cars, such as the prices, the miles, the type, the colors, and then you want to list it out, and then you want to see all the methods that involve all cars. Then it comes the abstract classes. It's about listing it out without implementing it yet. Okay, so sometimes we don't want objects of a base class to be created. Like this is one of the reasons too. Okay, some because of the object. Okay, we don't want objects of a base class to be created, so then we create the abstract class. Okay, for example, here we have vehicle, which is car, lorry, and SUV. Okay, what does a generic vehicles looks like? Okay, we want to create a generic vehicle that looks like, such as the methods that involve all vehicles. Okay, such as miles, it involves all vehicles. Okay, and then animals, cat, fish, lion. An animal object makes no sense. Okay, so these three are all have a different attribute, different characteristic, different eating habit. So if you create one main class animal that will represent all these three, it seems like it doesn't make sense because it's difficult to find the similarities. Okay, so when you are creating an abstract class, actually you are creating a class that is most of the objects have similarities. Okay, so the solution, we make it an abstract class and it cannot be instantiated. Okay, so what is inside abstract classes? Okay, so first is the fields. Okay, the fields that are not static and not final. Okay, which will enable you to define methods that can access and modify the state of the object which they belong. Okay, and then it also include constructor. Okay, as you know, in Java, constructor doesn't actually build the object, it's actually used to initialize the field. And then third one, you have to include the methods. Okay, you can include a fully implemented methods, okay, that have all the implementation codes in it, or an abstraction method. An abstraction method actually is an empty method. Okay, if you use abstract method, that means no implementation in it. Okay, so when you want to declare the abstract class, you have to use the abstract keywords. So for example here, okay, if you want to make this shape class into an abstract class, you simply need to add the abstract keywords, which is abstract public class shape. So what is the abstract method? Okay, actually abstract method normally has only headers and no body. Okay, no statement or no implementation in it. It's empty, only the header with a curly bracket, that's it. And an abstract method has no body and must be overridden in the subclass. Okay, you have to do the override all the implementation in the subclass. So any class that contains an abstract method is automatically abstract. Okay, and then if a subclass fails to override an abstract method, a compiler error will result. Okay, if you cannot actually extend the abstract method, you will get an error when you try to run the code. And then for the abstract methods, it used to ensure that a subclass will implement the method. So you will declare the abstract methods, for example, in the superclass, but no implementation in it. But you can do the implementation in the subclass, okay, by just extending the superclass, and then you can do all the implementation in the subclass. So this is example, okay, how you declare the abstract methods. Okay, like we know, like I mentioned earlier, the abstract methods have no bodies, only headers that terminated by the semicolon. Okay, this is the example of abstract methods, how you declare abstract method. Okay, abstract public integer get area bracket semicolon, that's it. No implementation. Okay, So this is example of abstract class and abstract method codes. Okay, here we have abstract class. Okay, so we have shape abstract class, which is we declare it as abstract public class shape. Okay, so in here we declare methods. We also have regular methods and we have abstract methods. These are all the regular methods. Okay, and then this is the abstract methods. Okay, you can see here abstract methods have no implementation in it, just declare the headers, which is abstract public string to string and then abstract public double get area. Where should we do the implementation of these two methods? In the subclass. Okay, so this is the concrete class, which is the regular class. All right, so we have class rectangle extends shape. We are extending the shape, which is this class. Okay, and then if you go here to the override methods, here we have the implementations of the abstract class that we defined in the previous class. Okay, if you see in this abstract class, we have two abstract method here, which is toString and getArea. We do the implementation in the subclass here. Okay, public string toString, the implementation, and then public double getArea, the implementations here. Okay, as is stated here, abstract method is declared in the superclass but implemented or overridden in the subclass. Okay, that's how abstract method works. So, I'm going to test the, So now we are going to test the code earlier. Okay, so this is the main class. Okay, public class test shape. Okay, so here we are printing the area, and then we also printing the color and the length, the width, all the attributes for the shape. Okay, where we get all the information from the subclass, this one, and the superclass here, which is the abstract class. So I hope you understand. Okay, how can you use the abstract class and abstract method? Okay, this is important because I want to see how you try to implement it in your assignment number 2. Okay, so actually this is just a recap of what we have learned. Okay, so it says here the abstract class is the incomplete in its definition. Okay, since the implementation of abstract method is missing. Alright, so to use abstract class, you have to derive a subclass from the abstract class. Okay, and then in the derived subclass, you have to override abstract methods and provide the implementations to all the abstract methods as we learned earlier. And the subclass derived is now complete and can be instantiated. Alright, so now let's move on to interface. Okay, so in interface, what you do in interface class is it's actually similar to abstract class, because in interface class you will have a list of all the abstract method. It cannot be instantiated and it must be implemented in other class. Okay, it's different than the abstract class earlier. Okay, in abstract class, okay, you can declare the abstract methods and also do the implementation. You can do both. All right. Meanwhile, in interface class, you can only list the method. but you are forbidden to do any implementation in the interface class. If you do so, it will give you an error. Okay, so what's the purpose of all this? Okay, actually, we want to specify the behavior for other classes. We want it to be specific. Then comes the role of the interface class. Okay, so in an interface class looks similar to a regular class, except you have to use the keyword, which is the keyword interface, okay, instead of using the keyword class. Okay, and then the method that are specified in interface has no bodies, like I mentioned here. It has no bodies. It's only abstract methods. It contains only headers and that are terminated by the semicolons. Okay. So let's see how can we declare the interface. Okay. You have to use the interface instead of class keyword. Okay. This is the example. This is how you declare your regular class. Okay. Public class shape. Okay. This is how you declare your interface. Okay. Public interface shape. Okay. Instead of class, change it to interface. Alright, so to do the implementation of interface, so a class can implement one or more interface, which is multiple inheritance. Okay, for abstract, you cannot do multiple inheritance, but in interface, yes, you can. Okay, if a class implements an interface, it uses implements keyword in the class header. Okay, like here. So we have the public class rectangle extend shapes, and then we implement contour things, something like that, and all the implementations. Or you can also do like this: public class rectangle implements contour things and the implementations. Okay, so methods in interface. Okay, actually in interface, all methods specified. Okay, you list out all the methods in your interface. Okay, so it is necessary that class must implement all methods declared in the interface, and it should override all the abstract methods declared in the interface to provide the implementation. So inside the interface, the method will have no bodies, only headers that terminated by the semicolon. For example, here, okay, abstract, public, integer, get area. This is one of the example of the method inside the interface, which is only the abstract method with no implementation. So, what are the fields in the interface you have to include? Okay, all fields in an interface are treated as final and static. Okay, because they are automatically become final, you must provide an initialization value. Okay, so for example, here we have public interface contour. So integer, we declare the value right away, which is field 1 equal to 1, field 2 equal to 2, and all the methods header in here. No implementation, just the method headers. Okay, so as the explanation here, field 1 and field 2 are final static integer variables, and any class that implements this interface has access to these variables. Okay, so let's continue. So normally in Java, class can be derived from only one superclass, which is the inheritance. But Java allows a class to implement multiple interface. Okay, so if you want to do multiple inheritance, you can use interface, okay, instead of using the regular class. So when a class implements multiple interface, it must provide the methods specified by all of them. Okay, all right. So to specify the multiple interface in a class definition, simply list the name of the interfaces separated by commas after the implements word. So for example, here we have public class, class 1, implements interface 1, interface 2, interface 3. So this is how you specify the multiple interfaces in the class definition. Okay. So how does the interface in UML representation? Okay. So here we have 4 interface here. Okay, we have interface hybrid, interface electric, interface gasoline, and interface owner. Okay, you can see that all of this will inherit from our regular class, which is the car class. Okay, it allows multiple inheritance. Okay, instead of the abstract class earlier, it did not allow the multiple inheritance. Okay, how about the polymorphism with interface? So actually Java allows you to create reference variables of an interface type. Okay, so an interface reference variable can reference any object that implements that interface regardless of its class. Okay, doesn't matter in what class of that specific object we're in, you can refer to the any interface class or any interface that have been declared in your program. Okay, so when a class implements an interface, an inheritance relationship known as the interface inheritance will be automatically established. Okay, so when an interface variable reference an object, so only the methods that have been declared in the interface are available. So in the interface, you have to declare all the method, right? So only those methods that have been declared will be available to those objects. Okay, downcasting is required to access the other methods of an object reference by the interface reference. For example, if you have a super subclass that are trying to access the superclass that have been declared as the interface, you are required to access the other method by referring to the interface reference. You have to make sure to organize your program beautifully so that it's easy for you to do it's easy for the objects to access those methods. So when interface variable reference an object, so only method that have been declared in interface are available, and downcasting, like I mentioned earlier, and you cannot create an instance of an interface. Okay, it is not allowed. You cannot create any instance of an interface. Okay, for example, if you do like this, hybrid car, okay, you're trying to create an instance, which is a new object, using the interface hybrid car equal to new hybrid, which is, we know the hybrid here is the interface, it will give you an error. How can you do that? You can do hybrid car equal to new car, then it will be okay. So this is the example. Okay, so we have the interface electric here and interface hybrid. Okay, inside the interface electric, there's no implementation. We declare the abstract method here, abstract void show power source, and then inside the interface hybrid, we declare the header for void show powertrain. Okay, inside the class car here, okay, when you want to do the implementation for the interface, you must use this implements keyword. So since interface allows multiple inheritance, so you can do both electric and hybrid here. So public class implements electric, which is this one, and hybrid, which is this one. Okay, And then in here, you do the implementation for both show power source and the show power train, as you can see here. All right, so in the main class, when you want to test the code, test interface, and then you declare an instance and try to print out the print out the output from the code. So you will get this output. So if you, for example, if you try to create a new electric car tree by creating new electric, it will give you an error. Because why? Because electric is an interface electric. If you declare a new instance using the interface instantiation, it will not work. It will give you an error. Okay, so that's it for abstract class and interface. So I hope you understand on how to implement these two different kind of class and the methods involved. And I hope you can try. No, you have to. Okay, you have to include this in your assignment too. Okay, as I mentioned in the rubric, all the attributes that I will look for when I'm marking your assignment as stated in the rubric. Okay, so thanks all, and good luck for your assignment too. Bye.